Hey, church family. If you were with us this past weekend as we continued our series called Crosswords, you know that the word from the cross that we looked at was the word of assurance that was spoken to the repentant thief when Jesus promised him, "I assure you, today you'll be with me in paradise." What was it that prompted that promise from Jesus? Well, it was the request that the repentant thief had made in the verse prior, when he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." What we see happening there on the cross is one of the most powerful examples of transformation that you can find anywhere. And to understand the full force of what's happening there, you need to look over to the gospel writer Matthew's record of this same event. Because Matthew tells us that both of the criminals who were being crucified alongside Jesus initially heaped insults on him. It was later on that one of these two said, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." Again, transformation. The guilty man went from being a blasphemer to a believer. How do we know that? We know it because he calls Jesus a king. And the reality is that at that moment, no man had ever looked less like a king than Jesus did. Caked in dirt and blood and beaten beyond recognition, the sight of Jesus would have been literally nauseating. Remember, this criminal was not looking at the risen Jesus with a crown on his head. He was looking at the crucified Jesus with a cross on his back. He most likely had never seen Jesus walk on the water, or feed the multitudes, or turn water into wine. He asked Jesus to save him when it looked like Jesus was the one who needed to be saved. What changed his mind? It wasn't the virgin birth. It wasn't Old Testament prophecies. It wasn't the miracles Jesus performed or the lessons he taught. Jesus was silent through most of his trial and crucifixion. But he did lovingly speak these words from the cross. He prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing." For the guilty, dying man who'd just been hurling insults at Jesus, those words changed everything. They pierced his heart and echoed in his ears. Only God could forgive others, and only the Son of God could ask God to forgive others for what they were doing to him. All of a sudden, grace came alive to this man. He saw grace in the actions of Jesus. He heard grace in the words of Jesus. He felt grace in the love of Jesus. He realized he was dying in his sin, while Jesus was dying for his sin. He believed, and that belief coupled with the grace of God changed everything. And I pray that that same thing would happen for you and for me. Amen.